I had a question about coding palliative radiation and how you would go about doing that, radiation therapy, how you would go about doing that. So the first thing you need to do is we're just going to have an admit diagnosis for pain. And we're going to say that our patient has bone cancer. All right. We're just going to say it's pain due to cancer or malignancy. Okay. We're going to go ahead and click continue. And then for our diagnosis, we're going to put in that the patient is there for admission for the only reason the patient's coming in is to help with pain control. So we're going to have a Z code because it's going to be an admission code or an encounter for. So we're going to say admission. We're going to go to 4. And then we're going to say, why is that person being admitted? Well, they're being admitted so that they can have palliative radiation therapy. So we're going to go ahead and put in palliative. We're going to choose to spell. And it's going to bring up palliative care. Okay? We're going to click on that. Do we want to code the condition that's requiring that care? Sure, why not? Let's go ahead and do it. So we're going to say carcinoma. We're going to say malignant. We're going to say that it is unspecified morphology, site known. Okay, we'll just pick that. We're going to say that it's primary. And we're going to go back. We're going to say that it's secondary. And we're going to say that it's bone. Okay? We're not going to, it's not going to be in the marrow or the synovia. We're just going to say other and unspecified. We don't want to code another malignancy site. Okay, so now we've got our encounter for palliative care and we've got our secondary malignant neoplasm of the bone. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to put on a procedure code. And what you need to understand about palliative radiation therapy is that it's no different than curative radiation therapy. They're doing the same procedures, but they're looking for palliative care instead of curative care, meaning that it is done in instances where there is no hope for a cure, but there is some hope to alleviate the pain of the individual. Perhaps a tumor has grown so large that it's pressing on the spine and causing terrible nerve pain. They can not get rid of the tumor. It's inoperable because of the way it's wrapped itself around the spinal cord. And radiation will only shrink it. So what they'll do is they'll do that radiation therapy to shrink it to hopefully alleviate some of that pressure, therefore alleviating some of the pain. So it's not going to be any different than if you were coding radiation therapy for someone that was coming in for curative care. So we're going to go ahead and say therapy because that's going to be our root operation. All right. And then right here you'll see therapy and it says radiation in the non-essential modifiers. So let's pick that. We're going to pick radiation right here. And then we're going to say, we're just going to pretend that we have our, we'll say anatomical regions. All right. And we're going to say that we're doing, you could do any type of radiation for palliative care that you would do for curative care. So we're just going to say that our patient is having beam radiation. Okay, and we're going to say that it's in the pelvic region, the bone of the pelvic region. And we're going to say that we're only going to do, heavy particles, protons and ions. That would give us our beam radiation of pelvic region using heavy particles. All right, now if you go ahead and hit continue, if you look now, you have this radiation code. But when someone looks at this, say at an insurance company or whatever, they're going to know that this was not being done, this radiation therapy was not being done to cure. It was being done for palliative reasons. So it's in connection with our diagnosis code. All right, hope that helps.